What's up, everyone? It's almost the end of the decade, and that means that literally from 2010 to 2019, there has been a lot of things that's happened in between that time. But we don't care about everything else. What we care about here is cartoons. And we're going to be counting down the top 10 cartoons of this decade. So we're going to start from number 10 and go all the way to number 1. And if you're curious to see what I put at the top, then keep on watching. My disclaimer though, this is my opinion, and I have a right to my opinion. This is my top 10 list, and I have reasons for why I place the cartoons and the positions that they're placed. And we'll get into that later on in the video. So if you're curious to see what kind of list that I put, then keep on watching. And if you disagree, put it in the comments. I want to see your list of the top 10 cartoons of the decade. And if so, why you disagree with mine, if you do. But I'm not going to harbor on too long. Let's get into this countdown. Coming in at number 10 on our countdown will be Carmen Sandiego. Carmen Sandiego is a really new cartoon ending off in this decade. So it came out earlier this year in January 2019, and it now sits at 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's received 2 seasons and is premiering right now on Netflix. And the reason why I put this one at number 10 was because it is newer. And, a lot of the other cartoons might be a little bit more impactful. But I think in the future, people will be returning back to Carmen Sandiego. Alright, so number 9 on our list would be Adventure Time. I know everybody and their mom knows what Adventure Time is, but I put this lower on the list because I didn't watch every season of Adventure Time. I was growing up as the series was going on, and it moved in a different direction. But I can say that I'm an OG stan of what Adventure Time was when it originally came out. I watched the episodes, developed attachments to the character, and I think moving forward, they garnered a lot of audiences and kept younger kids engaged. Coming in at number 8, we have Teen Titans Go! We have Teen Titans Go. Teen Titans Go, I have a love-hate relationship with Teen Titans Go. I love the original Teen Titans, and if it was in this decade, it would have definitely been on the list. But Teen Titans Go, I can't ignore the impact that it has had. It even got into theaters. Not even the original Teen Titans got into theaters. And if it had somehow, somewhere, somebody tell me in the comments below. But from my knowledge, the OG Teen Titans didn't even make it to theaters. My nieces and nephews watch this religiously. I've even got suckered into watching it. And I can't admit it can be a little funny, a little cringy, and maybe a little kooky, but funny. It has its charm. It knows what it's trying to be, and it does that. And it has its impact. Look how many seasons of Teen Titans Go has been on Cartoon Network. So it deserves a spot on this list. Disagree or agree. Coming in at number 7, we're going to go to a more mature route, the adult animation route. And I put BoJack Horseman on this list because I like this cartoon. This animation is really deep. That's one word to describe it, but what I mean by deep is that it delves into a lot of issues. I know what people say, oh, it's just a cartoon or whatever, but I really connected to these characters. Bojack, you start to sympathize with him, you start to feel what he's feeling, and it's really a parody of what real celebrities may go through or what their journey is, but it's authentic and the characters change and they grow and they mature, and I think that it has a really good place in terms of setting the tone of what adult animation could be. It can be taken seriously, and it can be done, through any sort of medium, and I think that BoJack Horseman has proven that through its release. Number 6 on our list, we have The Legend of Korra. The Legend of Korra is the sequel to Avatar The Last Airbender, and if it was in this decade, you already know it would be number one on my list. Avatar is like my favorite cartoon. I rewatch all the episodes. Now that I'm an adult, I even have the box DVD set of all three seasons, and I have a necklace of the air sign because I'm an air sign, just like Aang. If I could wear an arrow on my forehead every day, I would. But yeah, Legend of Korra, I watched this and I will admit I don't get the same feeling as the original Avatar. I don't think it's trying to be the original Avatar. I think it shows the growth of the writers and it shows the growth of the creators of the series and how they want to tell a different story. I think it kind of pushed towards a more older audience this time around, seeing as the ages of the characters seem more scaled up compared to Avatar The Last Airbender. And I don't think it's meant to be a direct comparison to its predecessor. I think it's kind of sort of standalone, and I think it should be judged as that. It's very coming in at number 5 on our list. We're halfway there. Is Castlevania. This show is a Netflix original series, but it's based off of a Japanese video game. And I love the art in Castlevania the first time I watched it. That short, it was like 4 episodes. I was like, wow, this is really something again. The adult animation, they're kind of kicking in. It was mature. The story was it was also romantic. It had a lot of themes in it, and I found myself sympathizing with the antagonist of the series. I don't think that a lot of shows can really do that. I felt for Dracula and I could understand why he was doing what he's doing, instead of just being some evil villain who has a scheme who wants to destroy the world. It really dove into all the things that pushed him to this point. And I think that showing that aspect and, romanticizing his story and, giving sympathy and playing with different themes of, loyalty, betrayal, family, it sort of tossed everything in there. The art was a plus, and all the characters, you know, fit really well together. And there's a season 3. There's a season 3. I'm really excited for season 3 of Castlevania coming out, and I think that it's well deserved. Coming in at number 4 on our list would be Final Space. Final Space is a cartoon that snuck up on me out of nowhere. I didn't hear about it, but I stumbled upon it. I think I was watching TV and I was like, what is this? Like a cartoon on Adult Swim that I don't know about? Like, why am I out of the loop? So I stumbled upon it myself, and I really like when I do that. And I've never seen really much like it that was on TV at the time. The first season, like, I watched every episode, like, wanting to know what was gonna happen, what was gonna happen. And when I seen the backstory of how Final Space came about, it was a YouTube pilot. And then the creator, got offered by several different big networks, and it ended up in TBS, I believe, and then got to Adult Swim, and it's sort of like a really wholesome way that the show started in a very authentic way, and that really showed through with the themes of the storytelling. All right, so now we're at our top 3 cartoons of the decade, and this was really a juggle, like a struggle. Like I really was juggling between, okay, what's number 1, what's number 2, what's number 3, but I based this off of a lot. So I rewatched these seasons a lot, and so I was really juggling back and forth and deciding which 3 cartoons deserved, which spot, which one was going to be the top and which one was going to be the runner-up, so to say. So coming in at number 3, I have to say Archer. I love Archer. From the moment I started watching Archer, I love this animation so much. It's so funny. Like, it has literally like 9 seasons, and the 10th season is premiering next year. The reason why it went to number 3 instead of number 2 or even number one was because the later parts of the series, you know, seasons 1 through 7 were incredible and it sort of kept up with the same theme. Then we started digging into the dream state seasons. And if you're a fan of Archer, you know our love and hate relationships with these dream sequence seasons. So, you know, it was really, you know, what it was. I think that it was working, but if the creative people behind the show, the creator, Adam Reed, if he wasn't feeling, you know, sort of that creative spirit and wanted to put out work he was proud of, then from a creator's perspective, I understand. But as a fan, we're just going to sort of kind of put those dream sequences in the back. But keep in mind, we won't take away from anything that Archer has done. So coming in at the second spot is Young Justice. You know this series has got to make the list. And it sort of set this decade off in motion. And it had the first 2 seasons on Cartoon Network. My favorite character was, of course, Miss Martian. But as the series went on, I favored Artemis after the season 3. But that's how impactful this cartoon was. It had 2 seasons, got canceled, and then fans pushed and pushed and pushed for the story to be continued. That is a cartoon that is worthy to be on this list. So coming in at number 1 on this list would be, drumroll, Ben 10 Ultimate Alien. Yeah, I know, but hear me out. Ben 10 Ultimate Alien. I kind of had to finesse this one on the list because Ben 10 Alien Force came out in 2008, and then I think it ran from 2010, and then it picked up with Ben 10 Ultimate Alien in 2010. So I'm kind of sneaking in the whole series as a whole, but it counts because it came out in 2010, which is a part of this decade. But Ben 10 Ultimate Alien slash Ben 10 Alien Force is something that I've rewatched several times. When I'm bored, I put on episodes, like even when it was out when I was younger and I was a kid. A little, you know, it came out, I watched it. I'm an adult. I've rewatched it several times. And just what they did with this show, for it to be a kids show, is incredible. Like that stupid little jerk Ben 10 from the original, like, of course he was a little snotty nosed kid and he was gonna be bratty and stuff. But you didn't think that it would turn into this series. You know, the theme went there and it wasn't afraid to go there. And it was the storyline. I followed it. The characters, I loved them. Their development, I loved it. The art direction, I loved it. So this show is really worthy of the number 1 spot because of how innovative it was. It went on for so long, stemming from Ben 10 Ultimate Alien to then Ben 10 Alien Force, and then inspiring the Ben 10s who shall not be named afterwards. So yeah. So that is my top 10 cartoons of this decade. Which ones did you agree at? If you agreed with my list, would you rearrange how they appeared in the numbers? And if you had a completely different list than mine, I'll be curious to know that. But Happy New Year, guys. And yeah, let's finish off this decade and go into 2020 with more cartoons.